This is Andy Doyle, your Bishop of the Diocese of Texas, and I'm just felt like I needed to address you in a more personal manner today, especially in the wake of VID00021 and CO56, the two resolutions that have received a lot of press coverage, and really wanted to, out of my own heart for you and the people back in the Diocese of Texas, to address you directly about those things. I think it's been a real tough couple of days, and our deputation has just really risen to the challenge of what it means to be a diverse community. We have prayed together, shared our experiences as we go through this process. To say that people are having a hard time is certainly is true. Meanwhile, others feel like this has been an important step for the church. We are hoping to model in our unity and the deputation who we are as the people of the Diocese of Texas. I'm very proud of our deputation and the work that they've done. I'm also real proud of our bishops, as you will know, because our votes were recorded on the resolution VID00025. All three of your bishops, Dina, Rayford, and I, voted no. Yesterday, however, on CO56, Dina voted no, Rayford voted yes, and I voted no. And I think that just shows the amount of discernment work that we are doing in these conversations. I really felt like the process leading up to yesterday's discussion on the floor of the House of Bishops was a good one. I was able to represent privately to over 25 bishops of the House in an open conversation the night before who we are as the Diocese of Texas, how we as a diocese have continually reaffirmed a traditional understanding of marriage, how we as a diocese have committed ourselves to the Windsor process and the covenant process that's before us. We've committed ourselves to relationships in the broader communion, doing mission work out there, and that we weren't going to allow these issues, divisive issues, to get in the way of our mission work locally or our mission work in foreign lands. At the same time, I was able to talk to him about the fact that there are many voices in the diocese. And I think this was helpful. I think it helped with my own voice on the floor. I think it helped for them to understand who we are and where I'm coming from, and the voices that I represent within the House. And that was I think that was very, very helpful. I don't think that the resolution that came out was that much different, actually, in its nature than the resolution that it substituted. We continued to try to work on the language that we felt would be less destructive or less divisive within the larger church. Certainly those words were things like develop, formal, design, rites, or liturgies. These kinds of words began to, I think, in my own opinion, to say things that we weren't ready to say, and so we worked very hard. I felt like my table group, which is diverse in the House of Bishops, you sit by table groups, that they understood that, and they even spoke to that on my behalf. And so I do think there's a very great desire to have all voices be a part of this conversation. I do think that the result of yesterday will cause some division. It will probably cause some strain and division within our own diocese, which saddens me. But I also think it'll cause some strain in the communion. But we need to let the communion react as the communion will react, and not react on their behalf. It's real important that we give space for the Archbishop of Canterbury to speak to us directly, for our friend James Tangatanga, the Bishop and President of the Anglican Consultative Council, to speak to us directly. That is important time that we need to take, and we need to allow their voices to be heard clearly and not be muddied by our own voices. A little bit about the future. We still have a lot of work to do here at General Convention, and so I've got to get back to the House of Bishops meeting, which will begin in just a little while. I would say that there are other issues coming before us, so I'm going to wait to send a pastoral letter to you directly until the end of convention. I would like to cover both the positive things and those things that I think have been divisive with one letter that you all will be able to receive and can read on your own. That being said, I am updating the blog today with some reflections, very similar to what I'm communicating with you right now. Also, we'll put the substance of that in the dialogue to distribute throughout the diocese in a greater manner. And Carol Barnwell and I have worked on a press release so that you will have some information in your hip pocket as you begin to discuss this in your own church. I've done a couple of things also to begin the process upon my return. As many of you know, I made sure that I would be home with us, that I would be within the Diocese of Texas before my vacation continues, but after General Convention. So I will return to the office on Tuesday. We are working on a clergy day, a time for the clergy of the diocese to come together with me and hear from the deputation about the events here at General Convention. I would say that we have this pastoral letter. I've also asked a couple of members on the staff to consider a way in which you might have conversation in your own church on issues if you would like to. So we're working on a little bit of a program or curriculum, if you will, that you would be able to use for discussion groups in your adult forums if you wish. So trying to give you a number of ways of responding to these events and to do that rather quickly. Now, I want to say something. This is important to me to be very clear out of the vocation of my own heart as I understand myself as the bishop of the Diocese of Texas. I really believe that the Anglican Communion and sustaining our relationships at that level is very essential to who we are, who I am. I have been very clear that I will continue to follow the Windsor process, that I am supportive. It's not just that I'm going to follow a process of approval for the covenant, but I am supportive of the covenant in and of itself. These two things have not changed. And I want you to hear that clearly from me. While there's discussion about whether or not VID00021 was repealed or not, which called for a moratorium, the moratorium that we follow in the Diocese of Texas is because your bishop believes it is the best way to maintain those communion relationships while at the same time maintaining a healthy and open dialogue and relationship in the Episcopal Church. So you need to hear that from me. You need to hear that that's going to be part of the letter that I will write. It's part of the blog post. It's part of the press release, and I want you to know that. That doesn't mean that we will not continue to listen to the broad voices in the Diocese of Texas, but it does mean that that's where I am. I also want you to know that there are a group of bishops, communion partner bishops, who I think will probably have a statement that is similar to that, may say, in fact, the very same thing. But what's important is that I, your bishop, am communicating with you directly, not through the voices of others, but that you hear it from me, your bishop, that is where I am, that is the process that I will be following, and that you hear it straight from me. And so you'll have several ways of hearing that to help you in understanding kind of how I see us moving forward. I hope that you will pray for us, that you will continue to pray for us. I hope that you will pray for us by name. You can find our names on the website. I hope that you'll pray for General Convention. In your anger, I hope that you'll pray for those who you may be angry at. And in your joy, pray for those who are feeling some pain in these moments. Pray for the church and pray for our mission and the mission of Jesus Christ, that it may be fulfilled. I hope that this day you're blessed, and I give thanks for you and your ministry wherever it is in the Diocese of Texas.